Hi everyone, it's Brenda with Country Craft Creations, and I'm going to be showing you a quick and easy project today. This is for the New Year's Eve crop that Tammy is sponsoring, and I hope that you like it. This is actually an easel pocket tag, and I'm going to be using the Masquerade by Authentic collection. I love that. It's a super cool Halloween collection. And I had leftovers from doing another project, so I thought I would use it in this. This is a perfect project to use your scraps. So very quick and easy. Let's get started. All right, first I used black chipboard. You want to cut a piece, one piece, you're going to cut it 7 by 3.5. Okay, then you're going to cut cardstock. I used black again. And on the black cardstock, you're going to cut that at, again, 7 by 3.5. You're going to put that in your scoreboard, and you're going to score that in half. So you're going to score that at 3.5. Now keeping it, well, I should have kept that out. Keeping it in your scoreboard, you're going to go ahead at this first 3.5 section, and you're going to score that in half. You're going to score that at 1 3/4. Okay, and we're going to set that aside. Well, actually, what I would do then now is I would get my crocodiles. This is what I use to do my corners. I have the crocodile that's 1.25 inch. I used the 1/4 inch, and I went ahead and mitered the bottom. So you've got your 2 scored pieces at the top. Okay, you want to miter the large piece down at the bottom. Not miter it, you're going to round it, I'm sorry. I use the 1/4 side. You're going to round it. And then across the top. Yeah, we don't need to do anything with that. Sorry. On your chipboard, let's back up just a minute. Please bear with me. This is my first tutorial, so I hope I don't mess you up too bad. On your piece of chipboard, again, you're going to round the bottom corners. I used my 1/4 inch crocodile. And then across the top, I used my crocodile, and I used the angle side. So that when you cut the top of that, it's going to be like this. That's your angle. Just like this. Okay? So that's going to be your tag right there. So now that we have that, we're going to move on, and we need another piece of black cardstock because you're using your chipboard, okay? And then, we don't need another piece of black cardstock. Oh gosh. The cardstock that we just cut and we scored, all right? You're going to go ahead and angle just round the bottoms of the longer piece. Okay? So now we need the pattern papers. So we're going to set our cardstock or our chipboard aside. Set your cardstock aside, and we're going to cut our pattern papers. You need 2 pieces of pattern paper, and you're going to cut both of them at 6 7/8 by 3 3/8. This is for the front of your large tag and for the back of your large tag. So let's go ahead and put these on. We'll go ahead and glue these on now. and that step will be finished. Then basically it's going to be really easy to go ahead and make the easel part separate and then put it on when it's completed. So let's go ahead and use our glitter glue, and I'm going to run this around there, get it covered really well. All right, and we're going to go ahead and, let me put this back on. There we go. And we want to put this on. This is going to be your front piece. So make sure it's nice and squared up and even. And it's good to have your phone folder. Let me grab mine. Sorry. I love this phone folder whenever I'm going to be adding papers because it really works well. And it's nice and flat. So this is the front of our tag. We're going to turn it over. And we're going to add the other sheet to the back. I would suggest when you cut your papers, go ahead and ink them right after you cut them. So you can use either black with this particular project, or you can use sepia. Either one will work just fine. So this is going to go on the back. Again, you want to make sure you get this on as even as you can. The good thing about art glitter glue is you have some working time there. Got to scoot it over a little. It dries nice and clear, but it gives you some time and a little bit of wiggle room rather than the tape. Score tape is great, but you really need to know where you're going to put it and where you want it, because once it's down, it's down. Go ahead and burnish that. All right, and now we can set this aside. All right, now we're going to take that piece of black cardstock that you cut at 7 by 3.5. You scored it in half, then you scored it in half again on one section. All right, so now we have this piece, and this is what's actually going to go on top, and this is what's going to make your easel and your pocket. So again, let's set this aside, and now we need to cut our papers. You need pattern papers for this. You need 3 pieces of 3 3/8 by 1 5/8. That would be these 3. They are 3 3/8 by 1 5/8. I would go ahead and ink those now so that you have those ready. You're also going to be needing 1 piece at 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. Go ahead and ink this as well on all edges. And on the bottom of this one, you're going to use your corner rounder, your 1/4 inch quarter rounder, just like you used on your tag and on your black cardstock piece. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to put these papers onto this tag part and start assembling. So I'm going to take, this is what I want to show. So this is all going to be on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, which I already have. All the pieces were inked right after I cut them. Otherwise, I probably would have forgotten. So let's glue this down. Okay, this is the pattern paper, and we're going to glue this down to this bottom part. Center it nice and stick it down. All right, go ahead and burnish. Alrighty, perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and add these pieces to the center section. Make sure you ink them. And we're going to go ahead and add glue. And glue it down. Center it. And you can line it up with the piece that's on the bottom portion. Go ahead and burnish that. Make sure it sticks well. Then you're going to take your other piece, and this is going to go on the top. Make sure you have inked it. Turn it over. Put your glue. Gotta love that glitter glue, art glitter glue. All right, center it again, line it up with the piece that you have below. Burnish it. This is why I usually have clothes that are specifically for me to scrap with, because I'm really bad about wiping my gluey fingers on my sweatshirt. Okay, we've got this inside so far. Perfect. Now, we aren't going to put anything on the top when you fold this over, not yet. But we want a piece on the back, and I want this to match my base piece. So this is going to go, you're going to fold this in half, fold this over completely in half, and on the upper portion, you're going to glue this piece on. Make sure you ink your edges. So I'm going to add my glue. And line it up. All right, burnish it. Awesome. All right, now, so far so good and very quick and easy. This is when we're going to bring this big tag back in. This is where we're going to start attaching. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this piece on top. But when we glue this on, this bottom portion we're going to glue on. You're only going to glue it on 3 sides, across each side and across the bottom. Do not put glue across the top. So let's turn it over. And again, we just want glue down the side, along the edge. And we're going to line this up across the bottom. Make sure it's lined up well along the sides. All right, stick it down. Go ahead and burnish so you have a good tight seal. All right, so now it's attached. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the piece that we want to use, because whenever you have your easel, it has to have some way of stopping to hold it. So we're going to go ahead and use this little ribbon charm. I have a little piece of black seam binding, and I'm going to put this through this little ribbon charm. All right, of course, there we go. So stick it through both sides. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm so sorry. All right, we're going to try to open this up because we want that to fill. And it can look, actually, the more rustic you can get it to look, especially with the Halloween, I think the better. All right, so I've got that. So this is going to go onto the bottom. because this is going to be the stop when this is open so that it's an easel. Now for this to attach, I like using glossy accents if I'm attaching metal. I just find this holds wonderful. It's absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to put some down the middle and a little bit across the tops because I want to make sure that it's attached well and it's not going to go anywhere because it is the piece that's going to be keeping your easel in place. So you want to make sure you kind of center this. All right, I just eyeball it. Looks pretty centered to me. And just hold it for a little bit. And that glossy accent sets up pretty quick. Make sure you put your lid back on. You don't want to leave it open because it will dry out. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and, well, I guess we should have put that piece on before we did that, but that's okay. Now we're going to go ahead and add the cool part, and this is one of the cut-aparts from the Masquerade collection by Authentique, and this is in the 12 by 12 pad. So I chose this particular cut-apart because I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to just this bottom part. Okay, you don't want it on this part. You're just small fold here. That's where you're going to attach it. And you want to try to make sure that you have it nice and even and lined up. So go ahead and fold your fold back. Put your glue down. I would put my glue on that black part. That way you're sure that you're going to catch your tag. And coat that pretty good. All right. Now again, let's make sure that we center this. And with the glue, we have a little bit of wiggle room and a little bit of time to kind of make sure. All right. Well, hang on. All right, here we go. I want to make sure that it's perfectly even across the top and the bottom. I'm kind of a stickler on that. I need to slide it just a hair. All right. I think that's good. Go ahead and burnish so that it's well attached. I like it. I do. So when you open it, let me turn it around so you can see. When you open it, I'm upside down here, but it's going to catch on your bottom piece to stay open. Whenever you're going to send it, say, or use it elsewhere, you can always fold it down and it'll stay down. Now we're also going to go ahead and put just this little bow on here, just a little bit of embellishment. I'm going to put just a little glue on the back of it. And this is just going to stick right here on the side. You don't have to put it on if you don't want to, but I just kind of liked it, so that's what I did. Hold it on just for a sec. You got to love this art glitter glue because it dries relatively fast, which is a very, very good thing. So now we've got that on. We've got our stop down here for our easel. That's on. We have our pocket here, which is awesome. So first, okay, I have some orange seam binding and I had wet it and then wadded it up in my hand and then let it dry. This, I think, oh my gosh, I colored and made this a long time ago when you used to be able to only get the plain colored seam binding and you had to buy the inks and spray them, and oh my goodness, it was such a mess. So I want to go ahead and put this on. So I'm going to put this up here, kind of to the top. and I want to tie it off to the side. Doesn't have to be a bow unless you want a bow. But again, this is a Halloween project, so you know you don't have so much fancy cutesy pretty as you do more kind of rustic, I guess you would call it. So we're going to do that, and then we can trim this to any length that you want. But first, we need to go ahead and we're going to add a dimensional sticker. These are Halloween stickers I've had forever, and these are some of Jolie's, but they're really cool because they're so dimensional. I love it. So I could either use this one or I could use this eyeball jar. I think I'll go ahead since it's spooky, and I'm going to use, I kind of like this big one. This is Distilled Anguished Screams. So let's go ahead and get that out. And even though it's sticky back because it's dimensional, I always still put some glue on it just to be safe. And I'm going to put this kind of off to the side and angle just a little bit. Push it down, but you don't want to smash the dimension there. All right, and last but not least, you're going to have a small little piece of black cardstock, and you're going to cut this at 3 by 1 7/8. And then you're going to score it in half, round your corners, and so this is basically a little booklet. This is a little cut apart tag from the 6x6 pad Masquerade Authentique, and I'm going to glue that onto the top of this little booklet. Get some glue on here. Again, this is a relatively easy, quick little project. All right, we're going to glue this on and center it up. There we go. All right, burnish. You could go ahead and put another piece of just plain orange cardstock inside here, and that way you could write a little note or something on it. So since we did not glue this all the way down, we have a pocket. So I'm going to stick this right inside that pocket. You could put more tags in there or whatever you'd like. You can add that. I will probably trim these off a little bit more, but there you have it. There is your easel pocket tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't mess you up too much. I will be trying to do more tutorials, so stay tuned, folks, and thanks for watching. And by the way, Country Craft Creations, you can check it out, countrycraftcreations.com, and you can get the majority of the supplies there to do your own. Thanks, ladies. Happy New Year.